Hello，大家好。那今天想给大家介绍阿里的推出的一款叫做通义听悟的 AI 工具。那实际上这个东西呢有几个主要的功能。那我们随着它的官网一起来看一下。那首先呢，它其实是一个核心是实时的语音转文字，然后同时能够实现多语言的这个同步翻译。然后这个有点类似于科大之前做的讯飞语气的一些功能。当然，在此之上呢，它其实最核心的功能就是通过 AI 能够实现对这个所讲的内容里面的一个智能总结和一个高效的回顾。它实际上会去抓取这个关键词，然后同时对相关的这个语言做一个章节式的梳理。那这个其实会有很多的应用的空间。然后第三个可能更多的是方便分享和整理嘛，就其实会把相关的原文和你所标记的东西一键式的导出，形成一个比较好的一个分享的格式。那其实这个产品是随着阿里的整个的通义大模型这一套一起推出的。那现在已经有了 API 接入以及相关的这种方式，比如说通过钉钉的小程序、微信的小程序，以及 Chrome 和 Edge 的两个插件。那今天呢，我其实上就会来演示一下 Edge 插件的这样的一个实时翻译及记录的一个功能的一个使用，来看一下阿里的这个 AI 工具是不是有它所宣传的那么好的效果。我这里选取的转译的对象是 Steve Jobs 在2007年发布首款 iPhone 的时候的这个实录。那这里我已经在安装了这个通义听悟的插件，然后点开插件之后需要选择的是这个音视频本身的语言。那在这里我把它选成为英语，然后再点击开启实时记录。这个时候呢会弹出一个对话方式，需要把这个页面共享给相关的这个插件。然后点击共享之后呢实际上这个插件就已经开始做这个实时转译的准备了。我们这里可以看到这有个翻译的选项，我们把它这个功能全部都打开，打开翻译，然后语言是英语到中文，然后同时提供这个双语显示。然后我们再回去开始这个视频。不过在这里提示一下，在后面我会把这个右边的窗口做一个放大的处理，这样方便我们在这个过程中你可以更好的看到它实时转译的效果。那就让我们开始吧。
This is a day I've been looking forward to for 2.5 years. Every once in a while, a revolutionary product comes along that changes everything. And Apple has been, well, first of all, one's very fortunate if you get to work on just one of these in your career. Apple's been very fortunate. It's been able to introduce a few of these into the world. In 1984, we introduced the Macintosh. It didn't just change Apple, it changed the whole computer industry. In 2001, we introduced the first iPod. And it didn't just change the way we all listen to music. It changed the entire music industry. Well, today, we're introducing 3 revolutionary products of this class. The first one is a widescreen iPod with touch controls. The second is a revolutionary mobile phone. And the third is a breakthrough internet communications device. So, 3 things. a widescreen iPod with touch controls, a revolutionary mobile phone, and a breakthrough internet communications device. An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it? These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device. And we are calling it iPhone. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone. And here it is. No. Actually, here it is, but we're going to leave it there for now. So, before we get into it, let me talk about a category of things. The most advanced phones are called smartphones, so they say. And they typically combine a phone plus some email capability, plus they say it's the internet, sort of the baby internet, into one device, and they all have these plastic little keyboards on them. And the problem is that they're not so smart, and they're not so easy to use. So if you kind of make a Business School 101 graph of the smart axis and the easy to use axis, regular cell phones are kind of right there. They're not so smart, and they're not so easy to use. But smartphones are definitely a little smarter, but they actually are harder to use. They're really complicated. Just for the basic stuff, people have a hard time figuring out how to use them. Well, we don't want to do either one of these things. What we want to do is make a leapfrog product that is way smarter than any mobile device has ever been and super easy to use. This is what iPhone is. Okay? So, we're going to reinvent the phone. Now, we're going to start with a revolutionary user interface. Is the result of years of research and development. And, of course, it's an interplay of hardware and software. Now, why do we need a revolutionary user interface? I mean, here's 4 smartphones, right? Motorola Q, the BlackBerry, Palm Treo, Nokia E62, the usual suspects. And what's wrong with their user interfaces? Well, the problem with them is really sort of in the bottom 40 there. It's this stuff right here. They all have these keyboards that are there whether you need them or not to be there. And they all have these control buttons that are fixed in plastic and are the same for every application. Well, every application wants a slightly different user interface, a slightly optimized set of buttons just for it. And what happens if you think of a great idea 6 months from now? You can't run around and add a button to these things. They're already shipped. So what do? It doesn't work because the buttons and the controls can't change. They can't change for each application, and they can't change down the road if you think of another great idea you want to add to this product. Well, how do you solve this? It turns out we have solved it. We solved it in computers 20 years ago. We solved it with a bitmap screen that could display anything we want, put any user interface up, and a pointing device. We solved it with the mouse, right? We solved this problem. So how are we going to take this to a mobile device? Well, what we're going to do is get rid of all these buttons and just make a giant screen. A giant screen. Now, how are we going to communicate this? We don't want to carry around a mouse, right? So what are we going to do? Oh, a stylus, right? We're going to use a stylus. No. No. Who wants a stylus? You have to get them and put them away and you lose them. Yuck. Nobody wants a stylus. So let's not use a stylus. We're going to use the best pointing device in the world. We're going to use a pointing device that we're all born with. We're born with 10 of them. We're going to use our fingers. We're going to touch this with our fingers. And we have invented a new technology called multi-touch, which is phenomenal. It works like magic. You don't need a stylus. It's far more accurate than any touch display that's ever been shipped. It ignores unintended touches. It's super smart. You can do multi-finger gestures on it. And boy, have we patented it. So, we've been very lucky to have brought a few revolutionary user interfaces to the market in our time. First was the mouse. The second was the click wheel. And now we're going to bring multi-touch to the market. And each of these revolutionary user interfaces has made possible a revolutionary product. The Mac, the iPod, and now the iPhone. So, a revolutionary user interface. We're going to build on top of that with software. Now, software on mobile phones is like baby software. It's not so powerful. And today, we're going to show you a software breakthrough. Software that's at least 5 years ahead of what's on any other phone. Now, how do we do this? Well, we start with a strong foundation. iPhone runs OS X. Now, why would we want to run such a sophisticated operating system on a mobile device? Well, because it's got everything we need. It's got multitasking. It's got the best networking. It already knows how to power manage. We've been doing this on mobile computers for years. It's got awesome security. And to write apps, it's got everything from Cocoa and the graphics, and it's got core animation built in, and it's got the audio and video that OS X is famous for. It's got all the stuff we want, and it's built right in to iPhone. And that has let us create desktop-class applications and networking, right? Not the crippled stuff that you find on most phones. This is real desktop-class applications. Now, you know, one of the pioneers of our industry, Alan Kay, has had a lot of great quotes throughout the years. And I ran across one of them recently that explains how we look at this, explains why we go about doing things the way we do, because we love software. And here's the quote. People who are really serious about software should make their own hardware. You know? Alan said this 30 years ago. And this is how we feel about it. And so we're bringing breakthrough software to a mobile device for the first time. It's 5 years ahead of anything on any other phone.
回过头来看听悟里面的这个页面，其实现在就是生成的最终的这个记录结果。那你可以看到分成几个部分，一个是上面这个关键词，然后就一部分是全文摘要，然后接下来是章节速览，它其实是把每个音频都会拆分成这个若干个章节，然后对每个章节都有一个这个自己的一个 highlight。那这里面其实粗看了一下，在全文摘要这里面还是相对比较精准的，对吧？discuss 这个 Apple's announcement of new product called iPhone， 然后后面是讲它是如何的这个比较革新性的，它是怎么样去有一些这个 multi-touch 的 technology， 就粗看下来还是比较好的去总结了整个这个演讲的内容。那关键词里面其实有点奇怪的是，它有 Apple 有 iPod， 但是没有 iPhone 这个词本身。这个是有点奇怪的。然后接下来在原文里面你会发现它这里会标记出发言人1，所以这个其实有功能是它是可以这个做这个发言人区分的。就如果你是在这里是多人对话，其实上它可以自动的帮你就是谁说了什么做一个这样的总结，这个还是非常厉害的。 那下面实际上就是一个比较标准的语音转文字的一个过程，英文的语音转文字，对吧？那我觉得有点意思，就是开头的第一句话，Steve Jobs 说的是 "This is day I've been looking forward to 2.5 years"。那我试了好几次，我都不知道为什么这个 years 一直在这里漏掉了。这个其实是有点奇怪的，但是大部分看来说，整个的这个关键的信息还是被这个收录下来的。那这里是英文的原文，那如果你自己打开译，然后显示的是中文，那其实对你来说就更方便、更容易解读了，对不对？那你再仔细看一下这个全文摘要和它后面的章节速览，其实是真的是能够抓到一些内容，因为它其实整个的演讲就是讲说，以一个这个梗玩了一个开头嘛，就是他以为让大家以为他要宣布3个设备，其实他最后告诉你说，我其实就是一个设备。然后就是通过 user interface，通过这样的一个这个硬件的一个革新和软件的突破，这3个东西一起形成了这个划时代的一个新产品 iPhone 这个产品。那有兴趣的话，你可以这个我会在这个我的 YouTube 视频下面去分享我的这个整个的这个链接，有兴趣其实你可以通过这里点接，就是一边听英语一边来去看它的中文的意思，是非常好的一个学习和总结，提高自己快速对这个内容吸收的一个过程。对，那说到这个视频之外呢，其实是在通义听悟里面还会有一些属于比较有趣的功能，就是在这里有一个叫做发现，它实际上就是一个播客的总结的功能，对吧？特别是如果你要去听一些这种类似于英文的播客，比如说这里，你会发现它可以通过把内容直接在这个里面对你进行一个总结，你就可以更好的去理解这个播客内容了。除了它这里收录的这些各个频道的播客之外呢，你也可以通过 RSS 的方式去呃加入自己的订阅。那我记得应该是在这里首页的某一个部分，让我看一下新建，对，然后播客链接的转写，那这里 RSS 订阅其实也是通过刚才这样的一个过程可以实现。然后同样的话，你也可以去导入你的阿里云盘，通过上传本地的音频、视频文件就可以实现这个过程。总体来说还是非常好用的一个产品，特别是对我这样一个有很多的这种阅读英文内容，然后希望能够把它重新整理加工，然后输出成自己的一些东西，这是非常有意思的。那现在来说，这个产品还处于一个公测的一个阶段，所以是有很多这个相当于免费的资源、计算资源可以去薅的。那在这里你可以通过签到、通过去分享的方式去获取更多的这个时长。那对我来说虽然也已经够用了，但我在这里会放上我的这个邀请号和链接。如果你感兴趣的话，也可以通过我的链接，这样我也可以获取更多的这个转录的这个时间。那我更重要的是，我想听一下你会怎么去用这个 AI 产品？你会觉得这对你的工作也好，对你的学习也好，是一个很大的帮助吗？因为我其实已经听到一些内部的消息，是这个产品在比如说招行啊一些客户已经给他们用了，那他们的反馈其实是惊为这个天外神器的这样的一个反馈，是非常不错的。所以我更想知道是大家日常用中会不会发现一些新的有趣的功能，能够让 AI 更好的帮助我们的这样的一个生活。好的，那今天的分享就到这里，谢谢大家的收看。